The URSA Cine Immersive is a cinematic beast, but if you don't set it up right correctly, your Vision Pro footage won't look its best. Or maybe you are just curious how the whole workflow actually comes together. In this complete beginner's guide, I will walk you through everything from the best camera settings to practical on-set tips you wouldn't find in the PDF menu. Then we will jump into DaVinci Resolve to set up an Apple immersive video project, edit and render your footage as an AIVU file ready to be watched inside Apple Vision Pro. I will even dive into mixing Apple spatial audio format in the latest Fairlight, complete with head tracking monitoring using just a pair of AirPods. By the end, you will know exactly how to go from unboxing the camera to delivering your first immersive video the right way with pro-level results. Let's get started! Hi everyone, it's your boy Hugh here.
And me, Kimchi!
Let's go over the camera together right now. There are two LCD screens on the URSA Cine Immersive. The flip-out screen is the one I use as a DP. The other side is the assistant monitor, which can have complete different settings. This is for my AC to monitor exposure and secondary camera settings. Your camera package comes with a sunshade. I always use it outside so my AC can see the screen better in bright condition. Right now, you're looking at the camera menu. If you scroll up on the touchscreen, you can hide all the menus for a clean feed. Scroll down to bring everything back. One thing we now have confirmation on is the iris. This camera has a fixed iris of f4.5, so your exposure control comes from ISO, shutter speed, and the built-in ND filters. For the built-in NDs, you have 2, 4, 6, and 8 stops available. This, by the way, is my absolute favorite feature of this camera. And I'm sure a lot of the professional cinematographer will agree with me. 90 frames per second is the official Apple immersive video spec. You can shoot at other frame rates, but then you are not creating Apple immersive video. We will have a separate tutorial for that. It's more complicated. If you are shooting at 90 frames per second, which by the way, most people aren't used to, you need to watch out for light flickers. NTSC countries like here in the US, and PAL country like in the Europe will have different shutter angle recommendation and different settings. Here's how to set it correctly. Go into the menu, then set up page 2. If you are in the NTSC regions, set it to 60 Hz, and if you are in Europe, set it to PAL at 50 Hz. This should be the very first thing you check if you are planning to travel with the camera. I'm heading to England in 2 weeks with this camera, so I will set it to 50 Hz. Now, if you go back and click the shutter button again, you will see the default recommendation shutter angle now changed to 324 degrees instead of 270 in the US. Let's switch it back to 60 Hz and 270 degrees here since we are in the US. I personally stick with the recommended shutter angle and control exposure using ISO, NDs, and adding and removing actual lighting. But here is something important. Pay close attention to any LED screen you are capturing in the frame. For example, at a live sport event in a stadium, you will often have LED boards inside your 180-degree field of view. Those screens might have different refresh rate than your camera, and you will need to adjust the shutter angle to avoid the flickers. So think of the shutter angle as more than just an exposure control. It's a tool for matching and managing light flicker as well. That is a practical tip worth writing it down. Extra tip, if you swipe left on the audio meter right here, you will get quick access to histogram for checking exposure. Super convenient. Personally, I prefer using false color to judge exposure. I have set my HFR button right here to toggle false color on and off, since we don't really use HFR in immersive filmmaking. Here's how to set that up. Go to Menu, Set up, page number 4, switch to F2, make sure it is in toggle mode, and select false color. You can also choose which output receives false color. I usually set it to only LCD1 and LCD2 while keeping the SDI-A and SDI-B clean for the director monitor. I am sharing a lot of on-set tips I have learned with the URSA Cine Immersive camera. the kind of stuff you wouldn't find in the menu. So if you want more practical advice just like this, don't forget to subscribe. Here's how you switch eyes. I set it to the F1 shortcut. You always want to check both left and right eye before you roll to make sure there's no dust spot and no uneven lens flare. For example, in Meal Quick part, our latest release, we have lens flare showing up on one lens but not the other. That creates a strange artifact you want to avoid. So lens flare can work with you or work against you. Check it on both eyes before you hit record. In this different scene right here, the flare was evenly distributed on both lenses, and it looks very cinematic inside Apple Vision Pro. By the way, you can now watch that film on spatial film in our Apple Vision Pro app, or just download the AIVU file directly and watch locally on your Vision Pro to see exactly how we control flare in outdoor situation. Here is zoom, and here is Apple Immersive Video Overlay. This is a very important feature that I will cover in great detail in an upcoming masterclass on framing and composition for Apple Immersive Video. For now, just make sure all your key actions stay within this box. In the current firmware, after updating, audio is turned off by default. If you need reference audio for syncing, go into Audio tab and turn on camera left and camera right. You also have XLR input, and you can pad your XLR by minus 20 dB if you are getting a light in from a venue or a DJ mixing deck. Again, Blackmagic really thought of every capture situation. You just need to know where to turn on setting and off. Oh, and your recording button is right here or here with the physical button. Now let's talk about video I/O. On the back of the camera, you have SDI1 and SDI2 output. They are completely independent, and you can customize each one in the camera menu, which is really cool. For example, I connect my small HD 4K production monitor to SDI-A. On that feed, I actually see both fisheye. So instead of toggle left and right, I dedicate SDI-A to checking both eyes quickly on set. SDI-B is for director with a clean feed. To set that up, go to Monitor, select SDI-A, turn on side by side, turn on static text right here, and set it to cinematographer. SDI-B to left eye only, director. Make sure to set the SDI to 4K 2160p as we are using a 4K production monitor to zoom in for the director. The third SDI right here is for reference and timecode input. My go-to timecode device is the Timecode 6E set to 30 frames per second. That's important because the camera captured at 90 frames per second, you want an exact 30 frames per second timecode for proper syncing. I also use the HoloLens Law Max 2 right here with timecode and full synced live for multiple spot capture. And for multi-camera shoot, I use the Ceramic TC Neo Kit timecode generator with multiple URSA Cine Immersive camera. I have done a lot of multi-camera immersive shoot, and accurate syncing without drift is critical for a smooth edit and fast turnaround for clients. That's how I make sure every camera is locked together. Important note, the Ceramic TC Neo does have 60 frames per second timecode generation, but don't use that. Stick to the old school 30 frames per second. Plug your timecode box using the BNC connector and you are set. Timecode, brilliant! Lastly, there's 10 gig data port right here. That is what I use to offload data on set and even mount the camera directly in DaVinci Resolve as if it was a hard drive. That means you can play back footage directly in Resolve or even inside Apple Vision Pro. More on that later. Back in the menu, as I mentioned in the last video, I shoot almost everything at 12:1 constant bitrate. If you really need extra data though, you can go to 8:1, but honestly, that's overkill in most situations. The only time I would recommend 8:1 are for VFX green screen keying or virtual production. We are actually working on an immersive pipeline for virtual production using Keynote Flow Mimic. More on that soon. Remember, we are not just YouTubers. We are working professional just like you, and we are constantly building advanced workflow for filmmakers by filmmakers. Your subscription, your support help us keep pushing toward what's often considered impossible. More to come. If you swipe left on the screen, you will get your slate information. You will see the lens is actually 210 degrees fisheye with a focal length of 7.4mm and focal distance from 6 inches to infinite. So be aware, if your subject get closer than 6 inches, it will start to go soft. Honestly, the lens is so high quality that I barely notice the differences. But still, don't linger closer than 6 inches for too long. We'll talk more about proximity in our upcoming in-depth Apple Immersive Video Cinematography deep dive. Next is a very important note, leveling. How do you keep the camera perfectly level? Go to Monitor, LCD 1 and turn on Grid. Then go to page 4 and choose Horizon. When you go back, you will see this crosshair on your screen. If you also turn on the Apple Immersive Overlay, you can use the crosshair to level your camera quickly and accurately like this. Very effective and very fast. But before you can use this special feature, make sure you go to Setup, scroll all the way to the last page and calibrate the motion sensor on a completely flat surface. This is another tip worth writing it down. Our goal here is to leave no stone unturned. I'm sharing everything I know, but you will still need to follow this step and do the calibration on your own camera. This is especially important if you are working with a rental unit. Now, the lens itself captures 210 degrees, but there's a crop to limit your view to 180 degrees. That's to match the delivery format on the Apple Vision Pro. If for some reason you want to see the full uncropped 210 degree, which can be really helpful to make sure your tripod and microphone is completely out of frame. You can turn the crop off. Here is how. Go to Monitor for LCD 1 and change the display to focus. Now you are seeing everything the lens captures. It's great for last check before rolling, just to make sure the frame is completely clean. Okay, that's everything you need to know for now. If I missed anything or if you have further questions, drop them in the comment section down below and I will do my best to answer them. You will notice my camera here is rigged for a professional shoot. I will break that setup down in the next tutorial. Offload your media or DIT. For me, the best way to offload media of this camera is using the 10GB Ethernet port. I have the Sonet Solo 10GB Thunderbolt 3 to 10GB Ethernet adapter connect to my M3 Ultra Mac Studio for on-set DIT and preview. You don't have to get this exact brand. I also recommend the OWC 10GB Thunderbolt Pro dock. That one gives me more I/O and crazy fast DIT speed. They are both excellent. One is smaller and portable and the other gives you more ports. In the Blackmagic Camera Setup app, I have allowed utility administration via USB, Ethernet, and Wi-Fi turns on. And that's why I can connect directly over the 10GB Ethernet port instead of using the much slower USB port. Speed is everything on set and 10GB is the fastest way to go. You can also get the optional Blackmagic Media Dock, which let you offload up to 3 cards at the same time. But the beauty of this direct connection method is that if you click Show in Finder, you can see all your media right inside the camera. No need to eject the card. You can play the file inside Blackmagic RAW player directly on a big TV. But even better, you can mount your camera inside DaVinci Resolve 20.1 as if it's an external drive and stream the feed to Apple Vision Pro, which I will show you next. Open DaVinci Resolve 20.1. In the media page, you will see the MM1 listed as an external drive. Open it and you will see all your media without even offloading the 8TB card. From there, you can build a daily timeline or do on-set preview. It's a powerful, professional solution. Throughout this video, you have seen how Apple Immersive Video Pipeline and the Blackmagic URSA Cine Immersive makes immersive production so much easier than it used to be on a professional standpoint. I've really grown to appreciate it as a working DIT on set, and I hope you will too, now that you know how to operate the camera correctly. Now, let's put on a different hat though, and learn how to edit Apple Immersive Video in the latest DaVinci Resolve. Start by creating a new project. First, go to DaVinci Resolve menu, then Preferences under Video and Audio I/O, scroll down to Immersive Video and enable both Ambisonic and Apple Spatial Audio format, ASAF. Close the preference window, then click the gear icon to open Project Settings. In the Master Settings tab, click Enable Apple Immersive Workflow. Your frame rate will automatically switch to 90 frames per second. For timeline resolution, I choose 8160 by 7200 Immersive. If you're on a slower computer like an M1 or M2, you can pick a lower resolution of 4080s by 3600 Immersive. I'm on an M3 Ultra Max Studio, so I will go with the highest setting. If you do work in the lower resolution for performance reason, just make sure to switch it back to the highest resolution before export, so you can deliver at the best possible quality. For example, my offline editor works in the lower settings. That is how a story editor can get real-time playback without a high-end machine. Remember, post-production is never a one-man or one-woman job. I'm using an HDR monitor right here, the ASUS ProArt PA32UCDM. It calibrates to 250 nits for monitoring Apple Immersive Video HDR. It has a 240 Hz refresh rate, so it can play back 90 frames per second in real time when paired with my M3 Ultra Max Studio in P3 T65 SD2084 color space. For this monitor, I set the video resolution to 3840 by 2160 4K. This setting will drop playback back to 30 frames per second. Just set it back to 90 frames per second right here. If you're on a lower spec machine, you can use proxy file to speed up the playback. Just make sure to use ProRes for your proxy media format. ProRes is the only codec that supports immersive multi-view. I usually choose ProRes HQ, which also let me color grade without constantly switching back and forth between proxy and RAW. That said, it really depends on your storage. If you are short on storage, short on space, ProRes 444, LQ, or even proxy should still work. Image scaling is automatically set to 4320 by 4320 for the final render spec. I don't recommend changing that, but if your computer is really struggling and you need more performance, go to Camera Raw right here, select Blackmagic Raw, and choose a lower decoding resolution. This will give you a significant playback speed boost. I think it's much more effective than messing with the image scaling settings. Finally, let's talk about color management. I covered this in great detail in another DaVinci Resolve tutorial right here, but here's a quick recap for Apple Vision Pro. Use DaVinci YRGB and check use separate color space and gamma for the timeline color space. Choose DaVinci Y Gamma and DaVinci Intermedia. Output color space should be P3 D65 Red 2100 ST2084. I set master to 1000 nits since I do have a 1000 nits HDR monitor right here. There are lots of settings to remember here, so if you work in both 2D and immersive format like I do, influencer by day and immersive filmmaker by night, kinda like Batman. I recommend saving this as a preset so you don't have to reconfigure it every single time. Now let's bring in some media. Here we have footage from the URSA Cine Immersive. If you don't have your own yet, we have provided some broad file for you to download for free for practice and follow along. Blackmagic also offers official broad file you can download, so definitely go check out the official website right here. It's really helpful. We also have ambisonic audio capture with my Zoom A3 VR in A format, plus a stereo track from the camera XLR input and the mono lavalier feed from my brand new Holy Land Law Max 2. Now let's quickly put and edit together. If you look at the inspector window right here, you will notice the transform control are grayed out. That's because this is an immersive clip. You don't want to adjust the transform control. And this is also why keeping your camera stable and level on set is so important. It is very difficult to fix it in post. The same goes with stabilization. Don't use it. Now, let's look at what's new in DaVinci Resolve 20.1. Under the drop down right here, we finally have immersive view. After selecting immersive view, you can switch to lens space, which is what you're looking at right now, or lat long, which is what you might be used to from a traditional 360 and 180 VR workflow. Viewport mode is similar to the Adobe Premiere Toggle VR display. It lets you to adjust to FOV, pan, tilt, showing your director exactly what the frame without fisheye distortion. This is a great tool for story editors because they can focus on the story instead of being distracted by distortion. It is also critical when you are compositing title and logo in 180 space. If a title is too large and go outside of the 60-degree FOV box, viewer will have to physically move their head to read it, and that's bad for immersion. Keep all graphic comfortably inside this box. And that is another old school immersive editing trick worth writing it down. For transition, I recommend only use cloth dissolve or dip to black for now. Also, check the render bypass button right here. This way, your cloth dissolve or fade to black isn't burned into the video, but instead is rendered dynamically inside Apple Vision Pro. This makes the transition feel more comfortable in 3D and give you a smoother playback experience. You can uncheck render bypass and burn it into your transition the old school way, but I don't recommend it. Let's embrace the new metadata editing pipeline Apple has designed for us. It gives us the best quality possible. And one more note, don't use this control handle for a fade to black. Use a cloth dissolve instead. That handle will bake in the fade directly into your footage again, rather than taking the advantage of metadata-based rendering. You will also notice a track called BD that is a background track. It lets you insert an USDZ 260 environment to cover the back of your 180 frame. This is a really cool feature, and we will dive deeper into it in an upcoming tutorial. So, how do you insert text and graphic into your immersive video? Most basic text and Fusion title can be dropped directly onto the timeline now, and Resolve will automatically understand and place them correctly in lens space. Even third-party title effects like the M-Trick title I purchased from Motion VFX work perfectly. If you turn on immersive view, you might notice the text look way too big. Simply scale it down, use the title control. Then, if you turn off the immersive view and move the content position, you will see the title actually travel in lens space with a correct fisheye distortion. And this is because it is using your camera metadata. If you move the same text outside of the camera recording area, you will see the distortion has changed. And that's how you know your graphic and any future VFX work are truly live in the actual lens space, because Resolve understand your exact lens profile. To make this work though, only adjust position and scaling under the title tab. Do not use the transform control right here under the setting tab. The only exception is convergency. Convergency push your graphic forward and backward in the Z space. Let's quickly jump to color page right now, turn on stereo mode and switch to anagram black and white. Now go back and adjust the convergency. You can see the 3D depth changing in real time. Just remember, anagram is only for quick preview. For fine adjustment in 3D space, always do it inside Apple Vision Pro, which I will show you next. In Fusion page, we have also got some major update for handling Apple Immersive 180 video. I'm going to save the full breakdown for a future more in-depth deep dive, but here is what is new. You can now remove lenses and unwanted objects like a tripod leg directly in Fusion on the URSA Cine Immersive camera. It's an incredible powerful tool for cleaning up your shot, and we will explore all that workflow and tips and tricks in how to do it in Fusion in upcoming Apple Immersive video masterclass, free on this channel. Now let's talk about the color page. We are going to simplify things here a lot and save the professional color house workflow in our masterclass. We use a 3-node structure right here. It's designed to work directly within your Apple Vision Pro without needing complicated HDR client monitor like what I have here. In fact, I recommend grading directly inside Vision Pro. And this is how we work about 90% of the time for fast turnaround project on our Vision Pro app spatial film. The first node is a color space transform from Blackmagic Design Wide Gamut Gen 4 and 5 and Blackmagic Design Film Gen 5 into DaVinci Resolve Wide Gamut that match our current timeline color space. The middle node is where you do all your magic actual color work. The last node convert from DaVinci Resolve Wide Gamut Intermediate back to output color space for Apple Vision Pro, which is P3D65 Rec 2100 ST2884. The maximum brightness of the Vision Pro is 108 nit with an adaptation value of 21, so we set those here as well. Okay, now let's learn how I grade directly inside Apple Vision Pro. The same workflow is also how you can provide on-set preview very quickly by mounting the camera using the 10K Ethernet port like I showed you earlier. First, make sure you have installed the Apple Immersive Video utility on your Apple Vision Pro. Your Vision Pro and your computer need to be on the same Wi-Fi network. I recommend investing in the Apple Vision Pro developer strap right here and connect your Mac with a USB-C cable using that strap right here. In my experience, it gives you a more stable connection overall, especially if you are working in a studio where everyone is on the same Wi-Fi network or your Wi-Fi network has some kind of strict corporation firewall rule. Wi-Fi still works surprisingly well though, and is completely wireless in a home network. So you don't have to buy extra gear or limit your connectability or your mobility with a USB-C cable if you don't want to. Once you're ready, put on your Apple Vision Pro, open the Apple Immersive Video Utility app you just download. Then I use Mac Virtual Display to connect my Mac and display DaVinci Resolve directly inside my Vision Pro. Change your Mac Virtual Display window size to standard. That way you have more space to see immersive video behind you. Then in Resolve, go to Workspace, stream to Vision OS, and you should see your Apple Vision Pro listed. If you don't, just restart Resolve and it should show up. Connect to it, then in the Apple Immersive Video Utility, click the window icon on the top right corner, tap Active Client Viewer, and you are in! The beauty of this setup is that you are now truly editing inside an immersive environment. Everything you do in Resolve, you can see instantly inside the Apple Vision Pro. And if the Resolve editing window is in your way, just pinch it and move it out of the way. For someone wearing glasses, this is like life-changing. I find myself more and more just edit inside Apple Vision Pro for hours instead of using my expensive reference monitor. This is what immersive video editing is supposed to be. After 10 plus years, we are finally here. Since this is a 3D video, we have access to the same 3D panel right here. You can switch between different 3D modes and even do color matching. These aren't new features, but they are still incredibly powerful for precise surgical fixes. I've already covered them in great detail in another tutorial right here, so check this one out if you haven't already. What is new on the color page for Apple Immersive Video is the feature called Edge Blend. When you click it, you switch into Edge Blend mode. We are also going to enable Vision OS effects. This pass the Edge Blend as a metadata for light rendering inside Apple Vision Pro instead of baking into the actual video. This gives you better performance without multipass render and a clear final result inside the headset. You can adjust the feather setting right here to taste. I also use Edge Blend to crop out the left and right lens. When you switch between the left and right eye, you will see the lenses are in the frame. That is very common on fisheye pair, just like in the Canon EOS VR system, but unlike Canon system, this mask isn't static. You can shift and drag the box, select all these points, and move them in to cover the right lens, do the same for the left lens. And now your lenses are gone. Later, I will show you how to remove the lens in Fusion instead, which increase your field of view instead of masking it. But that is for an upcoming masterclass. One more time-saving tip. You can export your edge mask as a JSON file by choosing export here, then import it back later so you don't have to recreate it every single time, especially if you are working with your own personal camera where nothing will really change. Fairlight now fully support ASAF, Apple Spatial Audio format, including the ability to monitor Apple Spatial Audio in binaural with head tracking when using an AirPods. Here, we have an ambisonic audio track captured with the Zoom A3 VR in A format, the highest quality capture mode on this affordable old-school first-order ambisonic mic. Right-click on the clip and select Clip Attributes. Under Audio, change the format to ambisonic first order. For basics on editing, processing, and tracking ambisonic with AI Power IntelliTrack, check out our first Fairlight tutorial right here. Here, we are focusing just on the ASAF update. Just like working in any DAW digital audio workstation, we first set the bus format and audio routing. Go to Fairlight, bus format, rename bus 1 to scene and set the format to ASAF scene, third order ambisonic. ASAF actually support up to 7th order ambisonic, giving you extremely high definition positional audios. And that's why we recommend using the highest order ambisonic microphone you can get for the best quality, for matching your high quality visual right here. We also have a headlock stereo track. Headlock means the audio doesn't move with your head turn. For example, in this live music performance, we captured the singer with a Sennheiser MKH8018 stereo shotgun microphone. In general, ambisonic mic can't match the capture distance or sonic quality of a pro shotgun, so having something like the Sennheiser MKH8018 for clean stereo capture of the performance is crucial. For narrative work, you can lab your talent instead. Next, create an ASAF master bus and set its format to ASAF master. This master bus is what you will render at the end, with all buses routing here. To keep it simple for now, we're just gonna have 3 buses, scene, headlock, and ASAF master. In routing, the ambisonic track goes into scene bus, and the music track goes into headlock bus. Both scenes and headlock bus then route into the ASAF master. Simple in this example, but in a larger immersive film project, you can easily have hundreds of tracks and buses. In ASAF, headlock audio is considered as an audio object. Go to your index, scroll to the right, and you will see the type is currently set to channel. Change it to object. Now, if you select the headlock bus and open the inspector, you will see the new ASAF object setting. You can check headlock here. Object can auto-follow the listener, as you see right here, but we will save that for a future tutorial. Pro tip: save this routing structure as a preset so you don't have to build it every single time. Go to Fairlight, preset library, select Fairlight configuration preset from the drop-down, and click Save News right here. Next time you start a new timeline, check Use Fairlight preset and it will bring all your track, channel assignment, routing buses. A very thoughtful feature that can save hours of setup time. Once your buses are set, you can add mono track like talent loud microphone or sound effects. Drop in, let's say, a kimchi bark, change it to mono, double click the panel right here, and now you can position the audio source anywhere in the 3D space. Very cool! When it comes to monitoring your ASAF mix, you don't need a $1 million Dolby Atmos studio, like the one we use in Warner Brothers. You can use a pair of AirPods. Change your monitoring bus to ASAF master and set the channel format to binaural. When you put on your AirPod, you see a new icon pop up. Turn it on. Then in the drop down right here, choose head tracking, display show torso. Now you get a visual representation of your head position right on the screen. Move your head and you will see a little avatar move with it. Your AirPods are sending head tracking data information straight into Fairlight. This makes AirPods an incredible powerful tool for monitoring spatial audio, especially when you don't want everyone in your audio team to wear an Apple Vision Pro. Finally, just like the color and edit page, Fairlight also has an immersive mode. Turn it on, choose viewport mode, and you can move the viewport around, giving you both a visual and audio representation of your mix. Very cool. Again, I'm only scratching the surface here. Fairlight is one of the most powerful DAWs I've ever used, and I'm coming from an Ableton background as a music producer. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to audio. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We are working our butt off building a complete Apple Immersive Video Masterclass, totally free, where we go super in-depth, step-by-step, from zero to producing professional quality immersive film from start to finish. Now, let's talk about the deliver page. If you scroll all the way down right here, you will see a Vision Pro icon right here. There are 4 export options now. The first option, generate an AIVU file, the same format you will see on my Patreon. This is a 4320 by 4320 preview file you can airdrop directly onto your Apple Vision Pro for high quality local playback. It's not the absolute max quality, it's just 4K per eye, but it's an excellent preview option, and this is what I recommend using for now. A higher quality encoding option is coming soon though, which will deliver even better result. The second option is Vision Pro Bundle. It creates a master ProRes 422 HQ file at full 8K per eye resolution. The third option is ASAF. It is spatial audio only. It outputs an APEG audio file that you can mux with your AIVU video. This is especially useful when your audio team and video team need to work in a parallel without stepping on each other's toes. And finally, there's VR 180, which most of you are already really familiar with. For this project, let's select Vision Pro Preview for our final render. You shouldn't need to change much here. I suggest keeping most of the default. If you're following my earlier tutorial, you know this is encoded as MVHEVC at 100 megabits per second, which is a great balance between quality and streaming performance. Scroll down and make sure force sizing and debayer are both set to highest quality. Remember, earlier in the tutorial, we set the raw decoding to quarter resolution for fast playback. This setting overrides that, forcing full quality output for your final render. Let's keep scrolling down to Vision OS bypass. In the current version of Resolve, it's off by default, which means all your transition and edge blend are baked into the video. That's not what we want for Vision Pro. Set Vision OS bypass to always for both transition and edge blend, or for any future effects that can be passed as a metadata instead of being burned in. I fully embrace this newer metadata-driven workflow. You can see the quality differences in all our original immersive film on spatial film. On the audio page, make sure your output track is set to ASAP master bus. From here, Resolve will output an AIVU file that you can simply airdrop onto your Vision Pro. No special software needed to play it back in full quality locally. So forget what I taught you last year about Moon Player, my own spatial film app, or any other third-party player. You don't need them anymore if you follow this tutorial workflow exactly. You can even use the free Apple Immersive Video utility to stream to multiple Vision Pro at once for a perfect synced theater experience. Ideal if you are running a location-based entertainment business like an immersive theater. The possibilities here are endless. I've just shared every secret I know about this workflow. I am a giving creator. I don't hold back. I hope you will do the same. Pass this knowledge on and help someone else level up. The old school Hollywood gatekeeping mindset is completely dead now. The best artists are the ones who share. Thank you for watching this very in-depth beginner guide to the URSA Cine Immersive and the DaVinci Resolve 20.1 immersive workflow. I know if you are coming from a traditional editing workflow or from Premiere or Avid, this can feel a little bit overwhelming at first, but trust me, once you get some practice, you will start prefer this pipeline over the others. And honestly, we are only scratching the surface here. There is so much more I really want to share, and it's all coming in our free Apple Immersive Video Masterclass right here on the channel. The next episode, we are diving into the fundamental of cinematography for Apple Immersive Video, from both a director's and cinematographer's perspective, to explore the actual language of immersive filmmaking. This is where we'll move beyond just pushing some button and start honing your craft as a storyteller in this brand new art form. Think of today as learning how to use a paintbrush. Next time, we learn how to paint. As an artist, that's the part I am most excited to show you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notification, and share this to another filmmaker who ready to join the frontier of filmmaking. Drop your question below in the comments. Kimchi read every single one of them. Until next time, keep experimenting, keep pushing the boundary, and as always, stay creative, my friends. Ciao!